those individuals that have been targeting people like yourself, they are asking government officials to have protection themselves. So if I take, for example, the peer mob and so on and so forth, they are seeking their own protection in order to continue conducting. Let's not call it illegal activity, but let's call it, because let's leave that to the lawyers and to
I mean,
justice.
honestly, the what I have gone through, I have used the word criminal activity publicly online because that's what it feels like.
Yes, and therefore it feels that, of course, what you're calling for is it's a much wider investigations that would involve the various sort of services of any country and cooperation. Because what you're seeing in France, so what we're seeing in the US, we've had exactly the same thing in Europe with Professor Rao in France, for example, who's been targeted and hassled as well. But thank you very much for sharing with us this element. I have probably one last question for you because I know time's running out. Recently, you've published on social network an opinion with respect to the way forward with this COVID mRNA review. Could you please share with us these elements? Because there's a lot of individuals who were expecting when Robert Kennedy Jr. went into as HHS secretary, or Jebet Sharia, that they would immediately pull this mRNA platform. But it's a lot more complicated. And I read your proposal, and I would love it if you could explain this proposal and whether it's got some mileage or whether it's going to be followed, in your opinion.
Yes. So I have said, and I've called it a personal opinion.
Yes.
Okay, that there's probably a path to seeing revocation of COVID mRNA vaccine approval by the US FDA for good cause based on emerging evidence of unexpected contaminants from an altered manufacturing process. And I think you know about the process one, process two,
Yes.
with the DNA and plasma contamination being process two that was rolled out in the
Is
marketed
different
product.
from the one that they actually got the authorization from.
Correct. And the original one was the one that was used in the clinical trials. Also, the unexpected biodistribution and other biological characteristics in humans that have been noted. I think information on effects of repeated boosters and adverse outcomes, including long term, among different age groups or situations, such as early pregnancy, young men, neuropsychiatric effects, clotting, fertility, prior COVID infection, among others, is really essential to shape guidance and any continued approval. I said that the FDA could warn the various manufacturers of revocation of approval by a certain date in the immediate future if satisfactory evidence of clean manufacturing and safety is not provided immediately or has not already been provided to the FDA. I think whatever evidence is provided should undergo high standards of scrutiny given issues, including technical concerns about the assays used to look at the amounts of DNA and how things like RNA, DNA hybrids, and sensitivity to DNase that's been used could impact the results and underestimate the level of DNA contamination. I think there should be financial and other sanctions towards those responsible. And I think the manufacturers would fall in that category, as would individuals within the FDA or the CDC who may have been involved should appropriate evidence be collected based on the lapses and or inaccuracies in reporting of issues that have surfaced, including, many of the things that have been coming out slowly through the work group and the work of ACE and of these things are very relevant and important as far as informed consent.
Sorry, we were just technical glitch probably.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. So anyways, I think, we've basically come up to the end, but the last thing I was saying was uh individuals in society have autonomy and have the ability to say, no, I don't want something to be put in my body based on informed consent. And just for perspective, remember, we're not in the middle of a rip-roaring pandemic. It's 5 years later. It's time we get some answers. It's time we refine the risks in different situations. That's really important. Because I think a lot of the other counter narrative is that safety and efficacy, billions of shots, it's not specific to specific situations or risk categories. And I think it needs to be in the setting of informed consent. This is what physicians and patients have been doing for a very long time. And, physicians take the Hippocratic Oath and they have their patients' interest. And, if they decide a vaccine makes sense, they shouldn't be deprived. But then the other side needs to be addressed. And I think all of this needs to be done with mutual respect and with scientific discourse and scientific progress that is needed. I mean, one of the damaging effects of the censorship and all of the other things we spoke about is it does get into the way of creativity and the scientific process. This isn't how science is supposed to be. We need to let science to be conducted with free thought, free exchange of ideas, and the truth needs to come out,
it gets
whatever
in
it
the
may
middle
be.
of a trust as well. Yes, truth and trust. And
It's truth, but also injustice. I think there does need to be justice,
mhm.
coming back to your earlier question.
And Professor, there maybe my last question, just your point of view on what was the reception that you got from the position, from the opinion you voiced, from regulators? Did you get people who called you and said, Professor, you're right? Um,
I will tell you, I can't remember if I mentioned this, but I heard from a representative in the Japanese government
yes.
um,
He,
by the name of his Kazuhiro. I'm
yes.
forgetting the
Thank you
last
for
name.
your work. Yes.